What is, Emma Jo, the next story that's being shopped around? Come on, give us the details.
First of all, I'm nervous to say it because I think that the person who does is going to certainly get sued and have to pay. Because what I will say is there's a reason why I am talking about it on the radio and scared to kind of dance around what it is. And it's not in the New York Times. Whoever, I don't know who's shopping the story exactly. Whoever it is, though, or whatever group of people it is, has been doing it for nearly a year. I know that they have gone to every major outlet. I know that they have gone to every minor outlet at this point. They've gone to every independent journalist at this point. And the claim is provably untrue, and we know that it's untrue, and the claim would have come out in litigation that has already happened. So it doesn't even matter because it's not true. And if anybody tries to run it, which they're not, it's going to fall flat because we know that it's like the key claims about it they're false.
Yeah. So this is so give us some insider here. What does it mean a story is shopped around?
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is I take for granted how long I've been rotting in this industry. What a story is being shopped around, it's basically a source is going to outlets or going to journalists or editors and trying to pitch it and say why it's important, why it's true, what the evidence is for it, and trying to get somebody to run it, to publish it, or to at least take it up and research it themselves and then eventually publish it. So when you're shopping a story, it's like if I have the scoop that Slater is getting a demotion to the overnight, and I want to tell people.
The 3 to 6 a.m. slot. Yeah, the 3 to 6. Oh,
if I hear that Slater's starting at 6 a.m., I really want to get it published, and I want somebody to start standing it up, and I'll go to the New York Times and I'll go to the Washington Post, and I'm shopping it to them,
Okay. So, and now what does then, let's say, the New York Times do with that email that they get with this source?
Well, so I was shopped the laptop from hell, and I was interested, and I started pursuing it. It's like, okay, well, can I see documents? Can I go see the laptop? That was how, like, once I got shopped, and then I bit, and then I start to kind of try to nail down the story for myself. Obviously, only the worst. Oh, listen, if this story runs, that the journalist was shopped it and just ran it and didn't bother nailing it down. But typically, when you're pitched a story, you try to figure out if it's true.
So all it takes is one, though, right? All it takes is one hack to do it, just like The Atlantic. We ran through the whole Atlantic story. Like, why did The Atlantic run with their story? And does any other, even lesser outlet, if that's possible, run with this news story that's being shown?
I don't think they will because it's just obviously a lawsuit waiting to happen. It's just obviously a lawsuit waiting to happen, and you're going to lose. But with the Atlantic story, and they've done this before, the Atlantic is run by, as you'll know if you read Alex's first book, Breaking the News, it's run by Laureen Powell-Jobs, who is like a huge Democrat mega donor. It doesn't seem like the Atlantic is very concerned with their journalistic integrity or their reputation. Think about the person who ran this story. I mean, I don't even think his name is worth mentioning, but he has all kinds of accolades for running the Russia hoax stuff. The Atlantic also was the one that ran the Suckers and Losers hoax. This is like ground zero for the dumbest and most untrue things they try to throw at Trump, and they don't seem to care. That's just the shop that does this, is the Atlantic. And this is just another one on the belt for them. And the truth is, though, it's falling flat. And you can see that by the 3-minute, do you call it a press conference? Is it a press conference? What that was? Yeah. But I think a press conference requires that you engage with media. I feel like it was more like a recital where she just goes out for 3 minutes and calls Trump a fascist and then walks back into her house. I don't think that's called a press conference. I won't dignify it with that term. But she tried to do that because the story wasn't really getting the right legs, and she thought she would elevate it, obviously, by addressing it personally in front of the cameras in a special announcement. And it's still not working. The family, obviously, in the story has come out and said, like, this is insane and disgusting. You're politicizing, our daughter's death, my sister's death, and we just voted for Trump. And I just find it kind of funny just to finish this conversation because I really hope this is all we have to say about this stupid story. But they've been calling Trump Hitler for 10 years. How is this an October surprise?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, now he's Hitler. Got it, Slater?
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't heard that one. But that's why I loved, I keep going back to Ann Applebaum's, Trump speaks like Hitler, Stalin, and Mussolini. All combined.
Yeah, don't forget
he's all of them.
Actually.
But,
it's just interesting because this seems to be the closing argument, because she doubled down on CNN last night. I'm squinting and seeing a closing argument here. Her official closing argument is going to be next week, where she goes on Capitol Hill and talks about January 6th. So I'm imagining that this is the closing, kind of pitch. Like, this is how she's wrapping up the campaign, which is just Trump is bad, Trump is evil, Trump is Hitler. So this all goes with that. The Atlantic obviously is an arm of the campaign. It's literally an arm of the campaign. I mean, L'Oreal Powell Jobs is a donor, a big donor, the donor. This is what they're kind of trying to wrap up the election with, is Trump is Hitler, and that all fits the bill.
Yeah, so she's giving the speech at the Ellipse, which is where Donald Trump gave his speech on January 6th of 2020. So that's the poetic storyline of it all. Wow. Why do you think that will not work? What is that? So listen, months ago, you laid out exactly what Donald Trump needs to do in every single day of the remaining how many ever weeks were left. And he, I believe, has done that. I'm curious your assessment. Like, went to Aurora, went to the places that told the stories.
Yes.
To the point where the media couldn't help but talk about it, which resulted in maybe one of my favorite news clips of all time, which is where Martha Raddatz said, "Oh, but it's only a handful of apartment complexes that," right? When that clip happened, I was like, "Oh, Emma Jo, just nailed that perfectly." So Trump has done that to a T. But why will Kamala's closing argument fall flat?
Because, well, listen, I don't want to underestimate the potency of the argument, because the truth is, that's been Biden's whole shtick, and I thought it was silly when he did it, and apparently the numbers, did show otherwise. And the midterm elections, which basically the Democrats ran on Republicans are fascists and insurrectionists, and it kind of worked. It was kind of like a red ripple, and obviously we all watched what happened in Congress after that election with such a tight margin. So I don't want to say that it absolutely won't work, and I don't like to kind of go all in on telling the future. I don't think it will. And the reason why is because people just have way bigger problems than thinking about an event that victimized elite Washington 4 years ago. People have bills to pay. People have electricity bills that are through the roof, grocery bills that are through the roof. I mean, how many times have we gone through it? How many times have I shrieked on this show talking about that in frustration? So I just think that there's way more pressing issues that Americans are thinking about than that. And it seems like they are really hinging, they're putting all of their eggs in that basket, in Trump is Hitler and an insurrectionist basket. Is it totally useless for them? Maybe not. Maybe it's more useful to them than I think, and more useful to them that it impacts me personally. But is it going to win her this thing? No, I just can't see it. No, I mean, come on.
This is we'll wrap up January 6th, but this is my favorite January 6th clip of them all. This is MSNBC at a union shop in Michigan.
Talk to me about your level of interest in the criminal charges and so forth.
February 6th?
January 6th.
Love it. That guy knows exactly what day she's talking about. and throughout February 6th? Do you mean? Oh, January 6th. Oh, yeah. I don't really know. I don't really care. Yes. He knows exactly what day it took place.
Right into that too.